Hi everybody, Sean Holsinger here from holsingersflyshop.com again, bringing you today a streamer pattern. This is one of the ones I like to fish in the wintertime here in my area. Black Ghost standard old pattern. Tying this on a Daiichi 2220 size 8 streamer hook. I'm just going to start out with some black thread. Start it on there and run it back to the back. Run it back to the bend of the hook. And I fish this mainly in the winter time, sometimes early season stock trout, not so much in the summer. Next thing we're going to put on is the tail. We're going to use some dyed yellow strung saddle hackles. Okay, just a cheap saddle hackle. We're going to use this for the tail material and then for the collar too. What I'm going to do is I'm going to strip off about a dozen or so fibers to pull out here from my tail. I'm just going to pull them off there. Then we're going to set that aside because we're going to use that again later. Now we're just going to turn this around in my hand here. Get the tips pointing backwards. We're going to tie this on for our tail. That's pretty good length there. We want a fairly long tail, but not so long that you're going to get short strikes. And we're just going to wrap this the whole way down. And then we're going to come back here with our thread and we're going to tie our rib on. For our ribbing material, we are just using, get it in focus here, Mylar tinsel, gold and silver. We're going to use the silver side of it. It's silver on one side, gold on the other. We're going to put the gold side up, so when we spin this, when we tie it down, putting the gold side up. And I'm going to actually start it around the side here, closest to me. By putting the gold side up, when you spin it around, it's going to actually bring the silver side on top for when you spin it around. Okay, we'll get that on there. The next thing we're going to do is put on a piece of black embroidery thread. Just a simple embroidery thread you buy at the craft store. This one's in black. I use a lot of the embroidery thread in a lot of different flies, woven check nymphs, things like that. Go to the craft store, Hobby Lobby, whatever you like to go to, whatever's closest to you. Pick up a bunch of buggy looking colors, your olives, yellows, anything you think make a nice looking fly. It's cheap stuff, use it. I use them on streamers too, black, oranges on a gray ghost. Anyhow, we're going to tie that on, then we're just going to wrap this to the front. It's very durable, that's why it's so nice to use it. Builds up a nice body, not too thick, but you don't have to wrap it heavy to get a thick body either, if you need a thick body. I'll be tying a woven check nymph pattern. I'll show you a trick with that on how to make it easier to do the weave using this material, using your bobbin to do it. We're just going to wrap this up here to close to the head area. You want to save room for a decent sized streamer head, so you don't want to go too far. And then we're going to tie this off. Trim off our excess, don't need this anymore. Okay, now we're going to put our rib on. Like I said, on this fly we want the silver side out, so we're going to make sure we get that gold side down. And we're going to, rib this up here, spacing it out nice and even. Make it look pretty. As you see me there, I'll take my thumb and hold it on top while I switch hands. It just makes it easier to keep it in place. We're going to get it up here. We'll tie that off. Okay, the next thing we're going to do, we're going to put a collar on this fly. The collar, how we're going to do it is we're going to go back to that strung piece of hackle that we used earlier. Okay, we're going to pull back the tips a little bit. We're going to palmer this in here. Now we're going to tie it on. We're going to put it on here like a wet fly, in essence. Put a few wraps there. Cut off our tip. Okay, we're only going to do 2, at the very, very most, 3 wraps here. We're always pulling our fibers back, get them out of the way. 2. That's good. Okay, we're going to tie this off. I'm going to trim that off. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take and we're going to peel this all down underneath to build a collar here. And then we're going to take and tie over top of it so it holds it into place down below. It's a simple way to make a collar on your streamer there. Trim off some of the stragglers here. There you go. You see you got a nice little collar on there. That was very simple to do. Just trim it up, make it look nice. Okay, now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put on the wing on this fly. Now, I just have some old, I think it's an old rooster cape. Okay, I'm going to use 4 of these feathers. I'm going to get it the length that I want it, which is just over the tip of the tail. Okay. And I'm going to peel the fibers back to where I want it. Okay, and then I'm going to get 4 feathers and do the same thing with all 4 of them. And then trim that off to the length I want, like that. I have some sitting aside already for time consideration here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 2 of the feathers, put them back to back. Not back to back, but where the bend in the natural curve in the feather goes together. Okay, then the other 2 feathers going to do the same thing with them. And then I'm going to take the two pairs and I'm going to place them together with the 2 arches going together. So it makes it a little bit fuller, you can see. And you're going to pair them all together so they're all the same length. And they'll give it a little bit more body by giving it the 4 feathers and by putting them 2 and 2 back to back. And we're just going to set them on top of the head here. We're going to tie them down into place. Oops. I'm going to start out soft and then pull it down, making sure you keep them centered on the head. And keeping them lined up there together. I'm going to hold my collar back so I don't overdo it. Okay, and I'm pulling pretty tight here to get this all where I want it. Okay, and you can see how that lays right down over the back like that. Do it a little bit. You see how I got a nice profile to the fly. It's just a little bit longer than the tail. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to build up the head some. Just gonna take and run some thread on there. Get a nice head on it. Now there's a couple ways to finish this fly off. For time's sake, I'm just gonna whip finish it off here for you. A couple of the options you have to finish this fly are you can paint eyes on it, which just get some white paint, put 2 white dots on it, let that dry, come back in and hit it with a black dot, black paint, make the eyeball. You can use stick-on eyes, which I often do on a lot of my flies. And then I'll cover that with UV glue to cement them in real quick. I prefer that way if I'm going to put eyes on it. The last way is the traditional way, is to use jungle cock eyes. And a lot of beginner fly tyers don't have a jungle cock laying around, but you would put the jungle cock right back over the white wing here to make it look like it has an eye on it. Pretty simple streamer there, very effective. Like I said, around our place here, they do a late stocking in the winter time. We hammered the fish on this one winter. Great little pattern, love to fish it. Easy to tie. Hope you enjoyed it. If you like what you see here, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Here I have a link coming up here in the corner. Subscribe to the YouTube channel so you can be constantly updated with our new videos. And please check out our website at holsingersflyshop.com. Thanks again for watching, and I hope you keep coming back for more.